A wonderful moment, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning, let us take a look on the influence of Botswana in the SADC region. And also, we need to take a look at the inconvenience faced by the Mnangagwa regime as things continue to change in the region. So remember, Mnangagwa has lost direct control of South Africa because the ANC can no longer 100% influence decisions, foreign policy in South Africa. Also, there is an issue of Zambia already not on Mnangagwa's side. We also have Botswana being the third country, denouncing Mnangagwa. And it's very difficult to tell whether Mnangagwa will be able to continue to be influential in Botswana. But let me try to highlight the consequences faced by Mnangagwa now that his preferred candidate has lost power in Botswana. One blunder which they made is that they publicly campaigned for another political party, which means they already have problems. We saw e.t.c protesting against Emmerson Mnangagwa's involvement in Botswana politics. They protested, and the embassy in Botswana was forced to issue a warning to Zimbabweans living in Botswana to be safe during the election period. So if you look at those events, when we got to the elections, the relations between ZANU-PF and the opposition then in Botswana were strange. They had no relations. ZANU-PF did not prepare the circumstances where the opposition was going to win. They thought the ruling party was going to maintain, was going to be able to rig and win the elections, but it was different altogether. So now that their party, preferred party, has lost, they have ruined their relations with the Zambian counterpart, with the Botswana counterpart, which means their relations are strange. If you look at the events within SADC region, the secretariat of SADC is stationed in Botswana, which means the coming in of the new government in Botswana is going to be more influential in terms of how the secretariat behaves right there, which means the coming in of this new president is going to affect Emmerson Mnangagwa's plans to capture SADC, and they've delayed him. They've delayed his efforts, and when you have more countries leaving your club or becoming distant from your activities, you become more vulnerable. So if we look at countries like DRC does have its own conflicts, is on fire, and it's very difficult for DRC to continue to be more influential in Zimbabwean activities or to support Zimbabwe, which is also another problem. So the key countries right now, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, are now not capacitated to support Emmerson Mnangagwa fully. Zambia does not support him. Botswana is likely not going to support him. South Africa is partially not supporting him because of the influence of the DA governments right there. That is the reason why you are seeing Zimbabwean authorities, they are trying by all means possible to influence the collapse of the GNU within South Africa, so that they continue to have more influence on South Africa and Ramaphosa in the ANC. So, this is the collapse of Mnangagwa's efforts to capture SADC. This is a collapse of Mnangagwa's efforts to continue having control over the SADC region. And this is a plus to us. There is no way the Botswana government is going to have better relations or good relations with Emmerson Mnangagwa's government, given that the same political party which was ruling was rejected mainly on the basis of corruption and on the basis of their affiliation and alliance with ZANU-PF, which is accused of rigging elections, corruption, and mismanagement of resources, which means the new president would not want to risk himself being a victim because of associating with ZANU-PF and Emmerson Mnangagwa. So if you look at the operations of Mnangagwa's state security agents, who were roaming around Botswana freely, influencing decisions at SADC headquarters. It's now a different ball game altogether, because with the new president, they are now going to be kicked out. They are now going to be less influential on the soil of Botswana, which means whatever they've been doing in the past, they can no longer continue to do it, which means they no longer have 100% full control of SADC activities in Botswana at the headquarters right there. So without the blessings of the Botswana government, then they are doomed. They had a free operation advantage because of Masisi, who was a very close ally of Emmerson Mnangagwa. And their history and the relationship, it dates back to pre-governments. Before Masisi became president, before Emmerson Mnangagwa became president, they had their own private relations. They could meet several times in Harare. Masisi could come and meet Emmerson Mnangagwa, and there was a white guy who was in between. I'm forgetting the name of the white guy who was facilitating those meetings, but they had their relations way before. So they've also become the latest victims of rejection in the SADC region. And also, let us go to Mozambique. Mozambique has been an influential ally on Zimbabwe, but right now, Mozambique is becoming more incapacitated. Why? Because of the violence which is likely going to happen there, the political instability. We have seen political parties in Mozambique rejecting the election outcome, and they are forming an alliance to fight the ruling party. The leading opposition leader in Mozambique, they don't know his whereabouts. They do not know if he is still in Mozambique or if he's outside Mozambique, and is threatening to send people into the streets to make sure that they protest against the Frelimo. So the major challenge is that Emmerson Mnangagwa will be on his own, because critical countries, Mozambique, if it is on fire, Botswana not on your side, Zambia not on your side, Malawi definitely, is quite neutral, and vanotera kukwenda vazhinji, which means Namibia having their elections now, they are more vulnerable than ever before. South Africa, more complicated. Put all these things together, you'd see that Mnangagwa is becoming more vulnerable as time continues to move. What it means is ZANU-PF is losing its intended influence within this region. If Mozambique chaos continues, and if a civil war breaks out in Mozambique, then Mnangagwa is doomed, because the effects of what is happening in Mozambique will likely spill into Zimbabwe at some point. So things are not well with Emmerson Mnangagwa at this point in time. The ANC is fighting to retain power in 2029. They are fighting by all means possible to retain power in 2029, which means their relations with ZANU-PF are going to be limited. They are not going to be seen as usual with ZANU-PF leaders. They are going to cool down, slow down their relations, because they have realized the consequences of going in bed with ZANU-PF. They've lost power in South Africa. And MK right now, it's growing. And the 2026 elections which are coming, the local authority elections in South Africa, are going to be a key decision maker. If the MK improves to catch up with the ANC, if MK improves to catch up with the ANC, then it will become evident that ANC won't make it in 2029, which means they will be doing all they could to make sure that they stop themselves from being humiliated. So you will see them focusing more on their own issues instead of ZANU-PF issues. And also remember, this is the last term of Cyril Ramaphosa, which means the ANC is moving into a transition. Even if they are to win in 2029, there is no guarantee that the new leader of the ANC will back Emmerson Mnangagwa, which means by the time we go to 2027, Mnangagwa will be vulnerable 2027 is too far. Even 2025 is going to be the key year for Emmerson Mnangagwa. And also his influence in Botswana is going to be, in Zambia for the 2026 elections is going to be reduced because of the changing of political dynamics within the SADC region, chaos within ZANU-PF itself. And, it has become evident that associating with ZANU-PF is detrimental and is not going to make any party win elections, which means they're likely going to face more isolation as we move forward, because countries are starting to see the effects of corruption, are starting to see the effects of hatred which ZANU-PF is preaching within the region, divisions which ZANU-PF is preaching and supporting within the region. So congratulations, Botswana. They have managed to stop SADC capture plans by Emmerson Mnangagwa, because he has lost control within Botswana, where the SADC headquarters is. He has been operating freely right there, and that free operation has been thwarted. So we wait to see how they are going to plan for a plan B, but in my own view, they've been stopped. Nancy, thank you very much for the contribution. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and let us meet in other episodes, in other broadcasts.